Can you all hear me okay? Okay, great. Having many conversations with a lot of you feels like you just have to be a founder to be involved in these things. Feels like everyone's after building something, which lets me know is like, I'm in the right room. Awesome. So yeah, in this kind of talk, I've kind of just wanted to share about my personal journey about how I got into JavaScript and how I got into this community. And what better place to share it than in NodeConf and with the community that dives into JS day in and day out. So little bit about myself is I grew up in Zimbabwe, and my opportunities were very limited. And however, I've always had a passion for learning and just general curiosity and just wanting to improve user experiences. I remember I would help my grandmother use the TV, and after I would break it apart and just be curious in terms of how it worked, and also just helping her use digital devices. Which got me thinking, like, we all have like siblings or we all have family members that just find it difficult to use digital devices. So it became my mission, you could say, to kind of help improve user experiences within digital devices. And a difficult mission, which we're probably all striving to do. And so about a decade ago, I arrived in Ireland, and I was just so amazed by the amount of technological complexities that are just out there for everyone to just explore. And JavaScript was that tool for me to kind of turn my mission into reality by building web applications that are perceivable, operable, understandable, and just robust, and just have accessibility for anyone to use. And so that's kind of like the main glance of the talk about how that journey embarked. And open source played a big factor in this when I arrived in Ireland. And then I'll talk a bit about my journey and then how, ironically, I'm working on this product. And yeah, so obviously open source is amazing. Thinking about everything just being out there for anyone to contribute to, for anyone to just tinker, for anyone to share with others was new to me. And possibly for everyone here is like, well, yeah, doesn't anyone really know about this? Well, no, right? For me, it was like, wow, you can really learn this information here. You can have this person comment on your code. You have this person find better ways of thinking, alternatively just trying to improve the user experience of the product or the customer's experience. So it got me thinking, people worldwide share what they know to elevate each other's skills. And a good example of this was like, I had a repository on GitHub, and considering there's like 100 million plus developers, and then someone out of nowhere commented on my code. I was like, hey, you know, you could improve this code. For instance, it was just a simple entry, right? Which just that connects to Firebase. And however, I had the image also connecting to Firebase, and I also had I was fetching that data to have a preview for the user to know what they were actually inputting. And then the comment was, you know, you could send the image to Firebase, and before you even submit the overall entry. That way then, before the user even submits the overall entry, the image is after being loaded already. So that kind of thinking about improving the user experience was interesting. Or even that thinking about commenting on each other's code without even knowing each other was amazing. And it allows people to basically, you know, be more connected to this community, knowing that there's people out there to help you. And yeah, so the journey itself, so my first programming language, my first library was this. People are like, a to-do list, really? Yeah, so this is the first thing I built using jQuery. I'm sure most of you guys know jQuery. Yeah, so I built, the interesting thing about this was I made a little bit of a twist to it. Well, I was just playing with a lot of JavaScript libraries, but I used Anyang, so which basically, have you guys heard of Anyang before? Some have, people nodding their heads. Yeah, basically you can control DOM elements using your voice, which is really cool for me. It was like going a bit too extreme user experience here, but I was just learning, right? I was just tinkering with a lot of JavaScript libraries. And the beauty about this was how easy it was, right? It was just so easy to do a lot of cool things, right? You could literally say a word and then pass a function to that word, and then have methods connecting to each other and having buttons fly out based on words, including user interactions. To me, it was like, wow, this is a really easy way to learn programming, and there's also people out there to help you improve your code. And the second the second experimentation I'd done was this. And hopefully the audio works.
Hi there. Would you like to learn about 3 interesting organs in the human body?
Yes.
Great stuff. Please drag any of the human organs to their correct position on your body. The stomach is like a mixer, churning and mashing together all the small balls of food that came down the esophagus into smaller and smaller pieces. The heart is used for pumping blood around the body. The blood provides your body with the oxygen and nutrients it needs. The brain is used for controlling the entire body, and it also allows a person to sense the outside world.
Yeah.
Hi there. Would you like to learn about 3 interesting
you.
organs?
Yeah, that was built using p5.js. Have you guys heard of p5.js? Yeah, your man at the back there. Yeah, it's a pretty cool way, JavaScript library, another one, right, to learn about JavaScript, and in a very interactive way. And code is very simple to use as well. You can even almost speak it, right? You can just say, if the hand is inside this shape, if the hand is inside this certain position, attach the object to that hand, and then if the object is near this certain position, we'll then let go of the hand. So it uses machine learning, which is a component within p5.js that basically has points, that has a already predefined human structure based on points. So you have the eyes being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you attach objects, you basically have them connect to the certain position. Pretty interesting JavaScript library. So a lot of the work that I do now is alongside my primary job at Red Hat or in the community is I channeled all of that curiosity, a lot of that exploration of JavaScript, playing with a lot of libraries, and then I kind of dive down into just vanilla JavaScript and React itself. And what I do now is just help communities in Fairbanks, so in Waterford, get up and running within their digital landscape. So most notably is the football club in Fairbanks. So I help them with their website and help them basically with any of their technology issues that they may be having, including the university in Waterford as well. So we have a learning platform. It's open for anyone to contribute to, which uses React, and where we have a lot of learning resources for anyone to learn about JavaScript. And my workflow for this is kind of thinking about the user itself. Like, what does the user want to achieve within this application? And most notably is thinking about how that data will flow within the web application, and then trying to think about what the user actually wants to achieve and how can I get the user to that achievement as fast as possible. So heavily customer focused, and which leads me to the product that I'm contributing to now outside in open source world, which is Backstage. So if I was to kind of go back in terms of my mission about trying to improve user experiences, thinking about why weren't digital devices or why weren't web applications accessible or as they should be, and the answer is it's because of developers. They're just not making things accessible. But no, I'm a developer too, so I'm in that category. But what Backstage is it targets developers themselves. So it helps developers have all of their tooling and all of their resources in the one place, so they don't have to have many bookmarks, and they can really focus on the tool itself. So it's an open platform for building developer portals, initially created by Spotify and donated to CNCF. And an IDP is essentially, you can imagine it being a portal, right? And just having a lot of resources in that consistent UI for you to just be able to find resources that are relevant to the product that you're building. So enabling you to focus more on the accessibility features. And the kind of architecture of Backstage is heavily component based, and plugin based. So in terms of everything is a plugin, meaning a component, and that component is all plugins are controlled by a proxy, which basically is responsible for orchestrating the data from the database to the plugin in question. That way then, if something is not registering or being imported correctly inside the UI, you know which component is responsible to. And this is what the UI looks like. So you'll have all of your information centralized, so you can focus more on what matters. And yeah, I'd like to basically say thank you so much for building a community of developers and basically being open to new people into this community and sharing knowledge. And I hope to also one day inspire others to do the same. Thank you.